Well, Mary, here we are under this marvelous old white pine. And you know, white pines give pretty much dry shade. So look at the things that survive in the dry shade of a white pine tree. The roots are right at the surface. So these are really doers. Now let's talk about the first one. Here is a Dutchman's breeches, a real true spring ephemeral because it dies down quickly after it's through blooming. Look at the roots on that, sometimes called squirrel corn. Look at the little what you call it, nobules right at the base. And each one is going to find its way over there, there, and there, and you'll have just a mass of squirrel corn or Dutchman's breeches. This is already bloomed. They bloom first thing in the spring. Little Dutchman's breeches, very well named. So that's a real true spring ephemeral. It's going to die down pretty soon.
And this is native.
That's native.
This foliage looks familiar.
Well, guess what it's related to? The plant between us. Here is another spring ephemeral, non-native. It's a white blooming bleeding heart. It'll bloom and bloom and bloom. Look at the buds still starting here. It's going to be blooming for weeks. Beautiful, white against that green foliage. We're more probably familiar with the pink one, but white is coming to the fore a little bit too. But this will bloom and then die down completely. So a real true spring ephemeral, but non-native. Now another one, as long as we're here under the white pine, and remember, just look at the root system. Look at that, just that fine hairy roots. What can grow in that? Well, Trillium. This is our native Trillium grandiflorum. Comes out white, the bloom comes out pure white, and then fades to pink. A lot of people will come in the spring and say, oh, I've got a pink Trillium. And I'm thinking, well, maybe you do, but it starts out white. Here's another one, a non-native, and we'll take a look at the underground here. This one's called Trillium cuneatum. And I don't know if you can see the bloom here, Mary. It has a kind of a purple bloom, upward facing, and the mottled leaf is kind of a giveaway. Trillium cuneatum, and spreads by little seeds. But again, look at the roots. How does anything grow in that? Look at the root mass. Look at that.
Wow.
That's from the white pine. Now, let's get rid of that. Well,
So that's the tree roots.
this is the tree roots, yeah, from this marvelous white pine. Here are the roots of the Trillium. It's kind of a fleshy root with a lot of fine hairy roots coming out from it. That's typical of the Trillium root system. So they'll spread by elongating and sending up more runners, more runners, more runners. More roots, more shoots, more shoots, more shoots.
So this one, even though it's just beautiful, this one isn't a native.
Not here.
But this one here is.
This one is, yeah. Isn't that beautiful?
And again, always in the shade.
Always in the shade, yeah. It prefers the shade. Easy to grow. You can see dry shade. They're not fussy about moisture at all. Obviously, they don't want to dry out completely, but they'll die down in the summertime, and at that time they don't need moisture. They've stored it all for that for the next season of growth.
Steve, how long will these bloom?
Oh, it depends on the season, of course. This year with this marvelous cool weather we've had, they've been blooming for at least 2.5 weeks. And this one looks like it's just fading. It's fading now. You see that pink coloration. It's going to go away probably in another week or so. And then the foliage will fade away and you'll just have a blank spot in the garden.
Wow. Can we see a few more of your favorites?
Oh, absolutely. Let's go down the garden path. Mary, one of my favorite spring ephemerals is called mayapple. I think we can probably understand why it's called that. It blooms in May. Let's see if we can find a bud here. Right there. Kind of at the axils of the leaf stems. That's going to open up like a little, like an apple blossom. And it's going to have a fruit, well, more shaped like a lemon, I would say, than an apple. But I suspect mayapple is pretty close enough for whoever named it. This one grows in more of a shady, moist area. A dry area would probably languish. So this is an area probably about 50 feet from where we just were. And mayapple forms a nice tight colony of these umbrella-like leaves. Aren't they pretty?
They're
very
beautiful.
distinctive. Now here's where the mayapple grows, how it grows. It grows by these underground roots. Well, of course they're underground. It's not how roots grow. But you can see, here's the initial stem, and here's the root for future growth. So it forms a nice tight colony by these underground roots that travel along and then send up new shoots as they go along. Very shallow rooted, likes moisture, good organically rich soil.
Does the foliage die down in the summertime
Yes,
too?
the foliage dies down after it's through blooming and fruiting. It's a beautiful flower and it's a beautiful plant, but again, you've got to figure out what's going to happen here after this is through doing.
What is that cute little thing over there?
Well, I wish it were in bloom for us today, Mary, but it's not. It's called Dodecatheon or shooting star, and another well-named plant. When each bud of this opens here, it's just like a star shooting out into the air. This one is called Dodecatheon rubra. It has going to have obviously a red flower. It comes in pinks, whites. Again, a spring ephemeral. It'll set seeds, and you'll see little babies around and about. I don't see any here now, but it'll spread that way by seed.
Okay, so that's one that does by seed rather than all by shoots.
Exactly. Across the path, Mary, is a plant called anemone. This one's called blue ensign, and it's about through blooming now, so it's not a very good day to take a picture of it. But it's just a little apple blossom-like flower. This one happens to be kind of a blush blue, a delicate foliage, almost fern-like foliage. It'll die down completely when it's through blooming. It's very shallow rooted, right at the surface. But that too likes kind of a shady, moist situation. True spring ephemeral, that'll just go away completely and you'll have nothing there until the following year. That's what I like about ephemerals. They're a surprise. You forget that they're there next spring. Oh my gosh, look at you, you little dear. Another nice, very common spring ephemeral, Mary, is Jack in the Pulpit. Every kid knows Jack in the Pulpit. This can take some sunlight. It grows in, look at here, it grows in kind of a grassy area where a lot of things wouldn't. I mean, this competition from the grass must be horrible. But you know Jack in the Pulpit. Here's the pulpit, this little sheaf, and then here's Jack. You see him?
Yes.
There he is. Spreads by seeds. You can see the roots starting to form, Mary. That'll be blooming probably in a couple years or so. And here, this might be one from last year, a little bigger, a little more mature. But see the root system? They have a fleshy root. Jack in the Pulpit. Common. We hardly think of it, but it's a true ephemeral.
I have heard of one called Virginia bluebells.
Oh,
Do you have
well,
that?
bluer than blue, sky blue, beautiful. Do we have it? Wait till you see, Mary. It's across the street at the nursery. It's a really true ephemeral, spring ephemeral. Comes up with kind of a strap-like foliage, a stem with bell-like blue flowers. Sometimes the buds come up pink and then turn kind of bluish, and seeds itself prolifically. Can almost be a pest. As a matter of fact, a friend who lives in Virginia, where they're native, was visiting and he said, "Oh my gosh, Steve, you've got more Virginia bluebells here than Virginia." So that's how prolific they are. Watch out. It grows in, we've got growing in where it gets morning sun. It has a very fleshy, carroty root, maybe about that deep into the ground, and fades away quickly after it's through blooming. Beautiful.